Folks, I'd like to start off by saying that the chess.com game review is an incredible tool for any improving chess player trying to learn from their mistakes. However, it isn't without its shortfalls, and this is what we're here to discuss today. A lot of the information provided in the game review, for those that don't know, once you finish the game, you just click the review button. You'll have a finite amount if you have a free chess.com account. If you pay for a premium membership, then you get, I think, infinite on all of them. A lot of what the game review tells you can be quite misleading. For example, I've got a game here. I played against Lieutenant Dan. Those of you that have seen Forrest Gump, hilarious, I know. We have this king and pawn endgame where the evaluation bar says it's flat out zeros, this is a draw. Great. I'm up a pawn, but black is about to take on d5. I'm not going to be up a pawn for very long. So here, I play a very natural move, king d2. Now you'll notice the eval bar hasn't moved. Still zeros. Black has to play either king d5 or g5, and the game is still a draw. So why is king d2 a mistake? Well, the answer is it isn't. If we go back just a step, your best moves are f3, h4, and here, you'll see right where I'm hovering my cursor, king d2. There is no best move in this scenario because the whole thing's evens. Zeros is the easiest evaluation to understand because it is just a draw. It's simple as that. With perfect play, whether I go f3, h4, or king d2, the game will end in a draw. I go king d2 and get that ugly orange circle next to my king for no reason. You see this on a review, that can be quite off-putting. You might sit here and try and understand why. The truth to it is there is no why. I've played a perfectly viable move. My opponent plays a perfectly viable response, and the game is still evens. But a year ago, chess.com introduced the miss, a sort of, I guess you could call it a light red circle with a cross. And the point of the miss function is to show a move where essentially you've missed an opportunity to play something better. It's not necessarily a mistake or a blunder. You haven't blundered a piece. You haven't necessarily made a mistake, because mistake, I guess, would carry the connotation that you have severely worsened your position into a losing state. But a miss is where you have passed up an opportunity to create an advantage for yourself. The issue with that is, look at the state of this. I mean, okay, this wasn't one of my finer moments game-wise. I think this was a game I lost. But you just get an absolute clusterfuck of colour, just like Balamori style all over the screen when you have the miss thing. Okay, there's a lot of mistakes and blunders in here as well, but again, it's just another thing to think about. Yeah, I should have gone queen f3, apparently. But instead I take the knight, and now my advantage is all but gone. But is this just a mistake instead? I mean, is miss really needed? I don't know. I liked the idea when it first came out, but now seeing how it's polluted the game review screen, this can be incredibly misleading. Another issue we have is this one's kind of split into two parts, but it functions around the great move symbol, the bright blue exclamation mark that we all so love to see. Great move was always originally supposed to signify an only move. Now, an only move, in sort of layman's terms, if you will, is exactly that. It's the only move to maintain a current evaluation in a position, whether that's an advantage, whether that's equality. If you play an only move, that is the only move to maintain that state in a game. Here, I play bishop takes c3. this is governed as a great move or an only move, when they also could have gone queen a6, sorry, queen a5, I don't know my coordinates, and the same sort of equality / slight advantage for black is still maintained. Alright, no, actually, tell a lie, you can go queen a6, and the evaluation is still the same. So why is bishop takes c3 a great move? Better yet, my face cam is probably covering where it says a great move, and you're just hopefully trusting what I'm telling you. I'm in the analysis tab right now after doing a game review. It does not describe bishop takes c3 as a great move here, but in the review tab, it does. Even the coach is giving a nice little speech about it as well. Again, that disparity, if you attach yourself to these random taglines too much, it's bound to sort of inhibit your learning a bit. Finally, we have the issue of the evaluation bar. Now, the evaluation bar is, I would say, far more straightforward method of understanding a position. If you see something is over +2, you know that's probably winning. If you know something's zeros, you know it's evens. Now, we have this king and pawn endgame. Those of you that have seen my short on triangulation will know how to win this. But I had a viewer comment saying, oh, you can also win after playing c6, because after takes and king c5, this is a win. They are correct. I went to look, however, because I was curious. Let's say we go c6. You see the eval bar drop down now to 0.9. But what does 0.9 mean? What actually is 0.91 evaluation after king c8? Even after you play the move, the eval bar twitches again, even though you have played the computer required response. Well, the truth is this position is equal. There's no way for white to win now. The easy way is obviously take, and then black will take this pawn, or you'll go into a drawn king and pawn endgame. If you try and get wise and play c7, you cannot stop black from yo-yoing between these two squares. So then that begs the question, why is the evaluation bar 0.7? Why does it feel as though white has some point to prove? Just to illustrate it, you can't. Anywhere here is a stalemate, obviously. So if you try and give black some space, you simply can't break through. So why is the evaluation bar still trying to act as though white has something to play for? Well, the computer sees that, okay, white's up a pawn, it's a pass pawn. Maybe there's some way to break through. But again, this is misleading, because you may look at this, and you may see yourself playing what are being described as the best moves if we just run a quick review. We'll note here that, again, there's only moves, there's best moves, but none of them are really that, because there is no win here. The true measure of whether a win is here is you use the table base. Here the table base says there is a draw, so that is it. Those that don't know what table base means, it means that a chess position with 7 pieces or less has been brute force mathematically solved. There is no way about it. The table base is never wrong. Table base says this is a draw, so it's a draw. So you kind of get a hierarchy form for when you're evaluating your own games. You can use the table base because the position has 7 pieces or less. In this instance, we have 5. It does include kings. And use that. Fantastic. Otherwise, use the evaluation bar because for the most part it is good. Not so good for openings and not so good for endgames, but middle game is the bulk, so more than welcome to use it there. Then the game review, because the game review is a bit of a marketing churn. You know, you play a brilliant move, you get happy. You play a blunder, you get sad. There's far more to it than that.